Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Lou Maroto from What's Next podcast. And I'm here with my boy Harold from October 76 podcast. He's out of Yonkers, New York. All right, we grew up together back in the days. Boy Harold back there, he set up his equipment. All right, as you guys can see, we're about to do our thing, little podcast today. I'm not gonna say little, because little you minimize your actual ability. So we're about to set up a podcast. Today's session, not gonna tell you just yet what we're gonna talk about, but I want you guys to just see a little bit of behind the scenes of what actually happens, right? This ain't set up by no one else. We do it ourselves. We come in and we get nasty, right? We start setting up. Make sure we give you guys the best quality of audio and video to make you keep coming back, right? So today is June 2nd, 2024, and we're about to do our thing. We're down here in downtown beautiful West Palm Beach. We're going to take a little walk out here in a little bit so you can actually see what and where we're at. Check out the view. You can't beat that with a baseball bat, right? So Harold's getting busy, the engineer slash podcaster slash putting it all together slash everything. But yo, it's about having fun. We're gonna have a good time. Again, no fluff. We're gonna talk about real life stuff. Whatever it is, off the top, no scripts, no fluff. All right. So stay tuned. It should be a good podcast. I mean, it will be a good podcast. I keep deminimizing myself. It will be a good podcast. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna chop it up. We've known each other since the early mid '80s, so we go way back like OE and staircases. All right. So here we are in 2000 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard. Again, a special thank you to my boy Tommy Morrison from Simpatico Real Estate, who has blessed us with the location and the equipment to have this platform. On my side, Harold has put his money, his hard sweat and tears into his equipment. So I give him credit for doing that, because that means he has a passion and he wants to do something productive. He wants to reach out to people in different ways, shapes, or forms. Okay, so just a little snippet of what we're doing while we set up. All right, and then we'll slide this into the actual video in the middle somewhere, or before or after the actual podcast. All right, so you stay tuned. October 76 and What's Next podcast coming together for a collab for the first time. All right, see you in a little bit.
What's up, everyone? My name is Harold. We're October 76. Here with my boy Lou Maroto with What's Next. Record our first episode together and have fun with it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. First episode of October 76. And where are we at? We're in Palm Beach, Florida. So it's gonna be good. This is a learning curve for both of us. All right. So don't mind any bumps or bruises along the way. But hey, that's what it's about, right? It's about us learning how to do podcasting, learning how to reach people, and trying to get our point across to everyone. At the same time, invite people that may want to be on your podcast.
Exactly. Share their stories, what they've been through, what they're going through, what their goals are. Just express themselves. To be themselves.
Yep, 100%. And I think October 76 and What's Next podcast has similar goals, right? We have two different platforms. where we're both trying to invite other people to come on the podcast, and share their stories. You know, like
Correct.
what story impacted them, and then how can that story probably benefit somebody else? What you know, as little as changing somebody's opinion to something, or really changing a whole lifestyle.
Correct. Because some people have doubts to get something started. Like me, this is something new to me. I'm a quiet person, barely talk, so this is a way to get out of my comfort zone, be able to express myself, and be more talkative instead of just with the people I know and staying in the background. So it's something I needed to change in order to progress and grow in life.
100%. And we all know public speaking is the hardest thing a person can do. And anyone that tells you different has never sat in front of a crowd of whether 10 people or 1,000 people. Public speaking is the scariest thing a person can do. But once you overcome that fear, it becomes maybe second nature, because the more you do it and the more people you kind of listen to that have done it can give you little hints and clues as to how to project yourself and how to speak confidently. Because I know when I started, I was a nervous Nelly. You can hear it in the cracking of my voice. You may hear cracking now, but that's just because I have, I don't know, something in my throat. But as an instructor, where I work at, that's what I do. I speak in front of, other type A personalities. And speaking in front of a type A personalities, again, is probably one of the hardest things to do, because there's a lot of people that I know that are type A, and they all think they know what you are talking about. They already have the answers ready for the question you haven't even asked. So we're not here to point fingers, but we're here to have a good time and just kind of chop it up. Just have fun on our ride. Put in any comments, subscribe, hit the like button. And just follow our journey. Follow October 76 journey. Follow my journey. What's Next podcast, and we both have two different lives, right? With what we do, and we'll speak about that in a second and properly introduce ourselves. But hey, have fun. That's what it's all about. So, Harold, all right, so you're down here visiting my stomping grounds.
Yeah.
But it's funny because we grew up in the same spizot.
Yeah.
Right? So we both grew up where?
On Main Street.
A New Main Street, right? In Yonkers, New York.
Lived right across each other.
Literally, like a spit throw away from each other on New Main Street, right across from School Street, Palisade, and then Getty Square.
Getty Square. That's so ghetto. Worse even now.
And we do have an age difference, a gap in age, but really, Harold's like my little brother. I know his whole family, again, from growing up back in the days in New York. So we're here to talk about that. What is the age difference? I'm gonna be 54. I'll be 54 in August.
I'll be 47 this October.
All right, so a couple of years, a couple of years different, not much. Our families pretty much know each other. We did a plan of hanging out in New York back in the days.
Paul Park. You didn't want to take me?
Grand.
So I ratted you out.
I remember you got me in trouble a little bit that back in the days. But again, growing up, his uncle is one of my best friends. My boy Crazy Lou. Little shout out to him if he sees this one day. But we had some really great times that you really don't see anymore nowadays.
No, you don't see it no more, because we all used to remember the parking lot. We all used to hang out and play there, chill, ice cream. Now it's like you can't even hang out, really, without something happening out there. So you stay home, I'm glad my son just likes being home too, just like me.
Yeah, absolutely. And for real, yeah, Yonkers. I mean, I was there. When was the last time? A year ago, year and a half ago. I was up there hanging out, whatever.
Yeah, almost a year ago.
Yeah, it was a lot different than from, I grew up in the 80s. 80s, 90s was like my stomping grounds. And like Harold said, the Paul Park, La Mirage, Grand Concourse, Studio 18, Studio 54, all the spots that everybody went to. But society was a lot different. Now, I'm not saying people didn't get jacked and killed and hurt and none of that stuff back then. But nothing compared to like what you see nowadays.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just crazy. You can't go nowhere without something happening. People not paying attention, try to run you over.
It's crazy. It's just, the gangs.
Yeah, there's a lot of gangs. There was a shooting thing in Yonkers, like right before I left. 2 teenagers sitting in a car just hanging out got shot. One was 17, one was 18. I'm like, damn.
And it was gang related?
Probably.
It's just, I know, we all knew people that carried guns back in the days, but it was nobody really pulled out guns. It was more fist fights and maybe somebody got stabbed, but not to minimize it, but somebody would get hurt and get stabbed. But I think that was like the most of it.
Yeah.
Back then we called them crews, posses, cliques. It wasn't like really gangs.
No. Yeah, it was just crews. This neighborhood,
right? It was
that neighborhood.
So, I left in '90, right? I left in '90, and from '90 to the time that I returned back, everything had changed. Just even like New Main Street. Like New Main Street was was predominantly like Portuguese, Italian. That was and it was a multicultural neighborhood.
Yes.
Blacks, Hispanics predominantly lived in the area, but like the stores were run and owned by like Portuguese and Italians, right?
Yes.
From New Main Street, all the kind of up Palisades.
The bakeries.
Yeah, all those were Italian. There was no
coffee shops, everything.
No. And I think even the workers, even the employees, the staff, were of that nationality. They weren't like it is nowadays, where you have maybe an Italian-owned bakery and you have Hispanics, so Latinos working in the back. But I still enjoy going over there. I never had any beef with anybody as far as cliques or gangs or any of that garbage, but not to disrespect anybody, but that just was me. I knew friends from different sides of town, from Yonkers Ave to Neppahan to School Street. I grew up with a lot of dudes on School Street predominantly because I lived right at Romaine. We all went to school in 18 and then Enrico Fermi was the middle school, and then after that everybody got separated. That's when the mayor of whoever was decided to kind of close down Yonkers High and integrate the students from there into like Saunders, Roosevelt, Gorin, and all those other schools, and Lincoln. But hey, nonetheless, I still had a great time growing up there. So, what school did you go to?
Well, from kindergarten to 8th grade, went to Catholic school, St. Mary's on Broadway, South Broadway.
Oh yeah, with the basketball courts.
Yeah, everybody.
Damn,
Across the street from Serrato Park. Remember the handball court and everything.
Yes.
Right in between Broadway and Riverdale.
Yep.
And then I went to went to Roosevelt, but transferred to Lincoln to join the ROTC program.
Yep, I remember that.
But that didn't work, so.
Hey, all you can do is try. Right?
Yeah.
You try, you give it your best, and sometimes, life takes you on different journeys.
Sure does.
You know what I'm saying? And then the only thing that we can do is just kind of pray up, and hopefully that we can survive whatever journey we're on and come back and start over again. Right?
Correct.
But yeah, so we have spoken, right? And again, this is Harold's podcast. This is not my podcast. I'm kind of helping him, kind of get his feet wet on his first or second podcast or recording. And trust me, I'm still learning. We were just unloading all these wires and cables, and we're like, damn, all we see is like the final outcome on YouTube channels, and you don't see the behind the scenes stuff. But there's a lot.
So much equipment. Got carry.
There's a lot of stuff you got to do for those that don't understand. Shit, or for those that plan on starting a podcast, there's a lot to it, But that's what it's all about, You gotta want to do it. Whether you start off as a hobby and it becomes something different or something bigger, which we all see, all these different podcasters that started kind of like with nothing and it blew up.
Yeah. And some give up too early. They're worrying about the views, the hits. Eventually somebody's gonna find it online. So you gotta just keep going. Don't expect like your second podcast episode you're gonna get like 1 million views. Everybody think they're gonna become Joe Rogan overnight. It don't happen like that.
And he's the man,
Yeah.
Joe Rogan, boy. I can't tell you how many followers he has. But you're right. You never know where it's gonna take you. 1 minute you could have 6 followers, the next thing you have over 1 million, and now people are paying you to do certain things. But again, today is kind of like just a chop it up kind of day, an introduction to both of the podcasts. You guys make sure you again hit that like button. Support. There's nothing better than supporting somebody who's doing something different, right? And it doesn't take much. When no one's asking for any money, no one's asking for you to send anything. There's two simple things: hit subscribe, hit like, and just kind of follow the channel and see where this journey takes you to. We both have 2 separately different stories of how we got here today to Palm Beach, Florida, or West Palm Beach. Palm Beach is where the rich people live. We're on the other side, so we're West Palm.
We ain't get there yet.
We ain't get there yet. But we're here in downtown West Palm Beach. We got a beautiful backdrop. But before we say anything else, Harold, let me just thank
Go ahead.
my boy Simpatico Real Estate. If you're in Florida and you're looking for residential, commercial real estate, look up Simpatico Real Estate. My boy Tommy Morrison has blessed us with his location that we can shoot from at any time. But again, Simpatico Real Estate. If you're looking for any type of real estate, especially commercial, he's big into commercial, building suites, for whether it be a telemarketing, whether it be real estate office, whatever. And I'll give you my phone number. Harold will put his information at the end, and just contact us. We'll get you in touch with the right people. But yeah, that just keep an eye out for both of our podcasts. So what let me ask you a question, Harold, because again it's your podcast. But what made you go into or try to attempt to start a podcast?
I felt like I need to change, especially because I want to become a personal trainer. I'm a certified trainer, so
real quick, when you say certified trainer, what do you train in?
Physical fitness.
Okay.
Help people lose weight, gain muscles. So I'm pretty new at that too. So I'm looking for a career change down the line. Once I move down to Florida, I have can't keep doing the same thing I'm doing. I ain't younger. I ain't getting no younger. So I want to do stuff I like. Like I listen to a lot of podcasts daily, and I want to get my word out there too. Like help people that been in my situation.
Right.
Tell them what to do, what not to do. Go about it, changing their lives.
So like more like speaking to the youth.
Yes.
Speaking to the youth. And I know for a fact that when you say you're a trainer, it's not like you're just saying you're a trainer. You have certifications in
Yes.
certain things.
Correct.
Right? So what are those certifications?
I got my personal trainer certification, and I was certified through Jungle Gym MMA when I was training a few years back. I have a certification through them too, and I'm still working on a few other certifications.
So you're doing things to keep bettering, or keep enhancing your craft.
Correct.
You know, because a lot of people don't understand when you pick a specific topic or career. You know, you can't just say, oh, listen, I just went to this one school and I'm certified to do this, so this makes me an expert. It's an ongoing process that you always have to keep training, because information changes.
Yeah, changes constantly.
It changes
New
constantly.
programs come out. Everybody's trying to create their own stuff. And doing crazy stuff. I look online. That's why I'm like, okay, really? Like somebody who's beginning won't be able to do that. So why are you like advertising that?
Yep.
Instead of like advertising to the beginners, they want like, then the people expect they could go and do that and get hurt.
Correct, and that's liability.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of liability in what you do, because people can get hurt if you don't do the proper techniques, the proper moves when you're doing your instruction, right?
Correct.
So, so you constantly have to keep training. So, so you decided to use podcasting as an extension of yourself to try to reach people.
Correct.
Right. So how do you what's the next step? You need equipment.
Yeah. So I saved up some money, and during COVID, I purchased some of the equipment I have now. So I started small. Everybody wants to go and get the big equipment. I was like, no. I'm like, oh, I found this. It's a Zoom PodTrack P4. It's like $150, and I'm like, holds 4 mics. 4 headphones. Host your friends. Create a podcast or something, and it's you could travel with it. That's what I like about it. So now on my lunch break at work, if I want to go record a podcast real quick in my car, I just pull it out, hook up the mic, the headphones, and start recording. And I have it in my pocket, 15-minute podcast. I could take it to the park, wherever I want to go, decide record a podcast. So I ended up with this, the mics, and the mic from my phone. Some people want to go get expensive camera. Yeah,
Right.
I want that too, but
Sure.
if you have an iPhone or any phone, just get a mic, connect it, and right there, you could get started.
Yep. And that's a quick plug, because although we are not sponsored, I'm not sponsored, I was not sponsored. But at the end, when we put a hashtag Zoom, and Zoom happens to see it as this podcast, we won't be afraid if you offer us a little something to kind of continue the episodes. Like your mics are from where?
Zoom also. Everything's Zoom. The
So-
mics, the headphones.
So you're 100% invested into Zoom, So he's not sponsored, but Zoom, if you're out there listening, don't help
We won't
us
say
help us
no.
get the message. He won't say no. Help him get the message across, And then there's a million people out there that have ideas to do something like this. The hardest step is taking the first step.
Correct.
So he's done that part.
I held on to this for what? Since COVID, like 2-3 years now. Finally get to record.
And it's a user-friendly device, right?
Yes. It's mad friendly.
Doesn't take a rocket scientist. Although I do see a few buttons there, but it's like you said, it's mad friendly. So we can all do it. Anybody can do it, right? Just go ahead and just get your feet wet. Stop thinking about it. Stop procrastinating. If you have an idea and you have a little bit of a plan, put the plan in action. Find a place, find a location, and kick it off, man. And if you need help from somebody, ask for help. You know, so.
And even if you feel you can't speak correct or don't want to talk, you could also create a blog and write. Maybe you write better than you talk, so or you feel more comfortable writing and posting a blog on a website. That don't cost much neither till you have up and running.
So this is and I know you did one episode before, right?
Yes.
It was kind of like a get your feet wet kind of deal, you know. So I guess we're gonna call this episode number 2 or number 1, but this one is gonna give you a little bit more experience.
Yes.
And I was dying to do this with Harold. I lived down here in Palm Beach County. Again, I grew up in Yonkers, New York with Harold. And I've been blessed, you know, I've done, I don't know, like 10 episodes on my podcast. Again, I don't know everything about podcasting and all the ins and outs and posting and editing. Editing is probably the biggest pain in the butt. I do ask for help. But I came here with Harold today, you know, and said, yo, let's do this together. Let me help you get your feet wet so you feel comfortable. Because it is hard talking to a camera that's not talking back to you, right? It feels weird. And I know the first time that I turned my video camera on, I was like, you know, it just I don't know what other word to use, but it just felt weird. So the more you do it, and it feels better when you do it with somebody else, because you kind of feed off people. So, what's the next step? What's the next step after this? You got this podcast. We're doing it. We'll finish today. What do you do next?
So I'll get back to New York next week. I'll edit it. I'll put the website. I'll create my website, have it up and running. I say drop the episode probably by like Friday. Okay. That way I have enough time to edit everything, set up the website, create the website, design it, and upload everything onto the website and onto YouTube.
I'm curious, what's like the biggest, what is the biggest, I'm trying to see how I word this. What do you want to see come out of this? What is your biggest, what do you think will be your biggest accomplishment from doing podcasting?
Help change a few lives, you know, from people's backgrounds of what I've been through. You know, it wasn't easy. I got in trouble when I was younger, so, you know, I was away for a while. So some people come home, don't have the right support group. Yeah, you have your family, but it's not the same as they've been living their lives, so they don't know what it is to go through what you've been through. So they'll just tell you, oh, don't do this, don't do that, or something be like, oh, he'll go back to doing the same thing. But you just gotta find like a good outlet, what to do, you know, what you plan on doing for the future, how to plan for the future, you know, if you want to continue being the same person you was, or you want to change. Because some people come out and continue doing the same thing over and over. And, you know, I haven't been perfect since I came home. You know, I haven't gotten in trouble, but I'm not 100% good, you know. Ain't like I did something crazy. I just, you know, everybody has issues, you know. And I think sometimes people look at it like, I feel like when you're in there, they just like, oh, you have your little programs and stuff, but they don't set you up for the world, the real world, what's really happening, what you got coming to you, or what type of help you should seek. Because after doing some time, I feel you should go see a therapist or something, you know, to express yourself, be known what you've been through and how you can fix yourself.
Sure.
Because some people still walk around angry all the time.
No, you know what, and in a way to relate, like I was in the Marine Corps, so I was away for 4 years. So like we had, and it was a bullshit class to kind of re-enter society, right? Because for 4 years now it's been embedded in your head. You know, you're a soldier. This is what you do. Yes sir, no sir. and don't walk on the grass, like stupid thing like that,
Yeah.
right? And then all of a sudden your day of release is coming, but they give you like a half day of like reacclimatization, right? Get acclimatized to going back into society, which is BS. It should be more than that, because for 4 years you've been doing a certain program, and it's kind of similar to you, like for a period of time you were away from society, family, and now and definitely a big difference from where I was at to where you was at, where you're on point 24/7. Where I was at, you don't really have to be on point 24/7. Now you're coming out, and little things can set you off. Not only the like post-traumatic stress disorder, other issues. Anger, it can be anger issues. It can be depression.
Yeah.
And the state, from like New York, does not prepare you for re-entry. That
Sure don't.
to me, there's like no rehabilitation, and I don't mean like rehabilitation in that, like, there's no way he's not gonna do that again. I'm talking about like mentally, like rehabilitation back into society. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's like, oh, here's your date. This is your date. You just take your stuff, walk, sign your paper, out the door. Got to report to the PO by a certain time, certain date. You get there, depending who you get. They like, oh, what you staying? You gotta get a job. That's it. And you just gotta keep reporting until they tell you that's it. It's over.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Now, if you don't have to answer it,
Yeah.
let me ask this. I was away for 4 years in the
Yeah.
Corps, and you was away. Can you say how long you was away for?
8 years.
So you was away for 8 years. For what it was, it doesn't matter. But 8 years is a long time. Shit, we go out and for half an hour, and you're like, oh man, I feel like I've been out here all day.
Yeah.
So imagine, an 8-year bid, and now you're told, hey, here's your walking papers, sign, go out there and try to do good. Or good luck, or I'm sure some of these COs, because I'm a law enforcement officer, and I've heard and I've seen some of these knuckleheads where they be like, I'll see you next month, or I'll see you back, right?
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately that's the system. Our system is really, really, really messed up. It helps some, but doesn't help a lot.
Nope.
And, do you agree with me?
Yeah.
You know?
It helps some get something out of it, some don't. I was like, nah, hell no, I ain't going back.
Yeah.
Screw that shit.
And that has to change. I mean, that's been going on for years. I am a big proponent that I believe there's a lot of people that are incarcerated for like either they're innocent and incarcerated, because I think one of the biggest things, and from what I've seen, is if a person is charged with a crime, right, and they don't have the money to afford a real attorney, you know what I'm saying, like a highball attorney that can defend your case correctly, you're gonna get assigned a bum
Yeah.
public
lawyer.
defender, right, that's gonna cop a plea and act like he's doing you a favor, right? And if you had a good attorney, and this damn public defender thinks he's doing you a favor, you could probably be your case as long as you really are innocent.
And even with a paid lawyer, like he'll tell you this much, you give him the money, and he's like, oh, I could probably get you this, but I need this much money because I need to get an investigator for this and that. Like, you already got in your mind, here, I already charged him $10,000. I need $5,000 more for the private investigator that will help you get 2-3 years off your bid, your offer. I was like, no. I'm like, we good. That's all we could afford, So I ended up with 6 of 18, did 8 years. And then when I get there, so I get sentenced White Plains, Westchester County. I get there, this dude's with worse case than me, 2 of 6, 4 of 8. I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, I guess money talks, bullshit walks.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's so unfortunate, man, because moms, dads, families are losing their kids for long periods of time that shouldn't be necessary. You know, if you do a crime, then you got to do the time, right?
Yeah.
That's the word. That's the saying. But still, you got to categorize what that crime was, and is it valid for me to give you, 10 years, 20 years for something that a good attorney could have defended in different ways. And yeah, you might have still had to do time, but it wouldn't be, a substantial amount of time. The punishment doesn't fit the crime.
Correct.
So it's crazy that we're talking about this because my wife enjoys watching those Law and Order programs. And sometimes I think she's a bigger detective than what I was. But yeah, it's crazy, man. And the conversation kind of was going one way, and we kind of took it another way, which is fine. So let's keep going with it. When you were now, let me ask you a question, Harold. So once you were, you was in court, you were sentenced. Now your facility is big for you, whatever. How does that work?
Well, once you get sentenced, they usually try to keep you like no longer than a year in the county jail, and then you get shipped to downstate Fishkill, and from there they start deciding where you gonna go. So with me, I ended up being like you would say a guinea pig, because you had Green's facility, for the minors like me, because I was. When I got
how old are you when the incident happened?
When the incident happened, I was 16. So by the time I got sentenced and all that, I was turning 17 when I went upstate.
So you're still underage, still juvenile.
Yeah. So Green, it was like a war zone there. These minors, all they love doing is fighting, stabbing, and cutting each other. So they wanted to test out how the younger kids, like my age, 16, 17, 18, will interact with the older crowd, with dudes who's been
like
coming
adults.
from max. Yeah, well, adults now. Dudes who did like 15 years and probably have 2 more years, and they were brought down to like a medium security instead of being a maximum security. So I got there, I'm like, okay, cool. It wasn't no drama, no nothing like that. Everybody's just walking around minding their business. You had your little cliques. You had Hispanics one side, blacks on one, white on the other, the Asians over here.
So, not to interrupt you, mind you, this is the first time you have ever been in trouble with the law.
Correct.
Right? Because I grew up with Harold. I remember Harold, clean cut, always wearing the fly gear back in the days. And I used to be like, damn, how you got all that fly gear looking all like that? And I'm wearing damn Alexander's shirt. But his uncle was one of my best friends, so that's how Harold and I got to know each other, how I got to know his family and all that stuff. But yeah, so never been in trouble with the law. This happens, and now you're stuck with the wolves.
Yeah.
So
we got there. There's your bunk, here's your greens, your boots, your Converse, and then I'm like, okay. Then I got there, settled in, called my mother, my aunt, spoke to them, let them know where I was at. And then they sent me some money, came up and visited me, brought me a package. They were always there, like, it was always my mother, my Aunt Luisa, my grandmother, Mamita, and Papito that passed away. Rest in peace. And they always came every month. Whether it was snowing, storms outside, nothing, they always came up.
And times like that.
And if it was really bad, they would like cancel it, and come back the following week.
But I think times like that is when you really need your family. It's if you're on his side and I'm his family, and you don't go up there for those important visits and everything, it does affect you. I think you need that moral support.
Correct.
You know, you need that moral support. So what happens next?
And you was always there too. You always write me, send me pictures.
Yeah,
you, Betsy,
I remember. You know,
kids growing up and stuff.
you know, and it kind of sucked because after that happened, I was in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, you was in the Marine
Right?
Corps.
I remember we speak on the phone.
Yeah.
I did write. I remember I did wrote you a lot of letters. You know, just to kind of stay in touch and everything. So what happened? Tell me what happens like next once you checked into this spot or whatever.
So I checked into the spot, just walk around, see if knew anybody that might have been locked up from Yonkers. Everybody start asking you, oh, where you from? Where you from? And then you get to know people. Then met a few dudes from like Brooklyn, start hanging out with them. And so when I was in Valhalla, the county jail, I was approached. They're like, oh, what's up? You know, do you want to be part of this? I'm like, what the hell is that? So I was like, all right, because, you know, now I started remembering watching Menace to Society, listening to MCA, thinking I was like some West Coast shit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, it must be like the blocks, you know, hanging out and stuff. I'm like, all right. But when I got to the facility I was at, they were like, I start seeing people like this clique, that clique, throwing up their signs saying, oh yeah, people running straight because they scared. I'm like, I ain't with them walking. A week or two goes by, somebody approached me, oh, aren't you this clique? I'm like, yeah. Oh, why didn't you come let us know? I'm like, why do I have to let you know? Oh, this and that. I'm like, I can hold my own down, what the hell? And what it is, they didn't like it because I was Hispanic, interacting with the blacks and stuff. So they're like, oh, you know what I'm saying? You part of us, but you rolling with them. But they were nobodies. They were just regular dudes from Brooklyn that knew each other from the streets, grew up together, that end up, some of them getting locked up around the same time for stuff. So it was just crazy. I'm like, whatever. You know, minding my business, met some dudes from Bronx, Harlem, Brooklyn. We all hung out together, chilled, went to the yard, worked out, watched movies, you know, movie nights on Friday they give us.
Yeah.
That's it. And then they were like, oh, you can't, they kept, I'm like, man, I'm out of here. So they're like, this one guy came from Brooklyn. He'd been doing mad time, and they brought him down. His time was almost up. And one of their heads knew him and stuff. He's like, nah, you ain't gonna touch him. They were gonna try to put like a freaking, how you call that? A hit out on me.
Oh, they were gonna green light you?
Yeah, they were gonna green light me. So I was like, bring it, you know what I'm saying? I don't care. And then they spoke to him and they let him know, oh, if you guys green light him, it's gonna be a war and this and that. So they left there alone. But then it was mostly like, then it did get a little crazy because you had these, the Bloods came in and the Land Kings and they don't get along with them. So they would like chase them out until this one group came. I guess they must have said, we're not gonna let them do nothing to us. Or you start hearing cold this, cold that. You start hearing one CO yelling like he was getting killed. So they had decided to just jump off. And that was the only biggest tension in the facility I was at. But after that, they let them know, like once these young Bloods came in, they were like, listen, there's no beef. This. You guys don't start the stuff you guys, I guess, whatever they do on Rikers Island. Over here, we all keep the peace, and that was it.
Yeah.
I was there probably for like, about I was there about maybe 5 years. 5 years, then I was moved down to Fishkill, closer.
And you was in that one spot for 5 years?
Yeah, one spot, 5 years. Yeah, about 5 years. And then I think I was in Fishkill for like 1 year, which was closer to home, over there by Sing Sing.
Okay, yeah.
So my mom used to come every weekend because she could just jump on the bus and the train and it would leave her there. And then after that, they shipped me to Wallkill, which was in the same area. I was there, went to see parole board, and they hit me with 2 more years. You know, I expressed myself, you know, I regret it. I apologize. You know what I'm saying? You know, it was just I was a kid and made a mistake.
Yeah.
And there was like, I was like,
They're
and
like,
this
no.
is it's like funny. You have a parole board, right? So they're supposed to make this decision after they hear you out, but in this Walker where we were at, everybody would go look for a little lieutenant that walk around, especially the day the parole board there. If you went to a parole board, you're waiting for them to how you say that, to let you out your room, you know, to open up the gates after they do a shift change. So once that happens, he starts walking. Everybody runs to him. But at the same time, the parole board is still going on. They're still seeing other people. And he already knows if you're going home or not. He has a paper who's going home or not in his pocket. So I'm like, you didn't give us a fair shot. You already came in mind saying, okay, we're going to let him go. We're not going to let this one go. You know? So I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's a little bit of a bummer there.
Yeah, so then stood there. Went to my second board and they released me.
And what year was that?
That was
Was it like 94?
no, I went in I got 93, 2001.
2001?
Right before 90, well, I was told, I went to the board before 9/11 happened.
Okay.
And then I was inside while that happened. Then I was supposed to come out in September, but you know, everything with what was going on, dates were pushed back, so I came home in October.
Nice. Yeah, no, I remember. Again, I was 2001. I was already down here. Yeah, I was definitely already down here. Years into my career. But it was a happy moment to see that, you know, finally, you know, you were back into society, back home with your family and the friends, and you know, it was a good feeling seeing you. I don't know if you came down here or I came out there to see you.
No, I came down here.
Okay, that's
I believe it was October 2002. That's when I started coming down here.
Yeah.
On the regular.
Yeah, because I remember
every year I'll be down here.
I took you to cover my little secret spot.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, see, everybody has trials and tribulations, and you know, although he didn't go in you know, a lot of detail, which is not really needed, but he gave you an idea as to something that he went through, and maybe in another episode, if somebody asks, hey, can you give me some more information as to what happened, you know, and whatever, I'm sure he'll expand about it, but these are kind of stories he wants to listen to people to come up on as a guest. You know, I'm sure you can do it either in person, you can do it through a Zoom kind of method. But this is what he wants to do. So if you have one of those stories like that, you know, you can tell there's a lot of politics once you go behind that gate.
Yeah.
There's a lot of politics you got to deal with, you know, and you see it in the movies and you see it in all that. But to be a part of it in real life, you know, only you can tell that story. So, you know, so once you got back into society, man, you know, we've stayed in touch ever since day one, and you know, you have a family, you have a real handsome, smart son that's doing his thing. You know, he just became principal's honor roll, high honor roll, and you know what he's about to do next is up to tell. You know, he'll
He wants to be like a therapist or something like that.
Yeah,
a social worker or something, help people out. He wants to.
He's a smart kid, and he's doing his thing, man. And so we're all very proud of him. We're all very proud of him. We're proud of you for everything that you've done. You know, you a stable job. you're taking care of the family, you take care of yourself, you take care of, friends, whatever. So you definitely change. You're definitely that percentage of people that in higher places usually don't expect, to be here. Then nah, he's going back.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because when you go back to where you came from, you see the same people, right, doing the same shit, and sometimes you get caught back up in that. So kudos to you for making the right choices in life.
Thanks.
And you have the ideas. You want to do better in life. So
Yeah, there's a lot of things I want to do. Sometimes I'm like try to do everything, and I'll be like, damn, this is where you need a team, But I'm like, out there, nobody really wants. I'm like, come on, let's do this, let's do it. All right, and then it doesn't happen. That's why I came up here, down here, and I was like, look, we gotta record, We hung out the other day, now today we'll record, and get things going, because I want to drop the podcast, my website, with blogs and stuff. I started writing a book, hopefully it'll be ready for October to help those coming home,
right.
What they should look for, what they should do, fixing their working on credit, getting a job, seeking help, it's gonna have a few different chapters being broken down in what I feel we should have been given to us,
Sure.
to me,
That's what's up, and that's such a great idea, because again, you throw them back into society without really knowing what to do next. You're giving your papers and see you later. Come see me next month, or once a month, or whatever it is, And you're good now. He's got his voting rights restored, everything else.
Yeah.
Right. So that says a lot. That means he wanted to change. He wanted to come back and do, be a productive member of society, and he's done it. He's living proof. It can be done if you put your mind to it.
Definitely can.
It can be done. You gotta put your mind in it. But if you go back right to the corner, and doesn't even have to be the corner. If you just go back into that town and you're dealing with the same people that haven't moved, they're like statues. It's you're gonna be a downward spiral, right?
Yeah.
So it's good. You gotta have change. You gotta have a plan. I was like, for me, I had to have a plan B. I'm about to retire from what I do for a living as a police officer. almost 28 years on the job. I'm about to retire. I have my plan B. I've been thinking about plan B since I got hired. But podcasting, was something that came up. I kept seeing it on YouTube when it first kind of started, and I was blessed to have somebody that hooked me up with the equipment, hooked me up with office space, and now it's giving me a chance to give other people a platform. All I need is people is just listen, hey, I want to be part of the platform.
Yeah.
And let me tell you my story. Maybe it'll make an impact on a young person's life. There's a lot of kids out there that don't have what? Guidance,
no mentor.
Dad may be locked up or just not in the picture. Mom can't handle the kids, so the next step is grandma.
Yeah.
And grandma can't handle that
Well,
kid.
they just let the kid run wild in the street. Go ahead.
And then the kid is running rampant. And then the kid becomes what? A part of the system. Now the kid becomes, instead of Jane Doe or John Doe, now it's 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah.
Whatever the numbers are. So there are opportunities out there, people. You just have to go out there and get them. Money is not going to come to you.
Nope.
Opportunity is not going to come to you. you have to make opportunity, money, all that stuff. You have to go to it, right? If it was easy, everybody would do it. It's kind of like a military saying, especially with like some of the specialized units there. If it was easy, everybody would do it, right?
Yeah.
Shit, if Navy SEALs were easy, everybody would be a Navy SEAL. But it's one of the hardest things you can go through, one of the most physically challenging things you could do. So, 100 people may show up, but 10 will graduate.
Yeah.
Right? So, kind of life is the same way. You got to make the best thing out of what you're given, but don't settle for what you're given. Just keep reaching, keep going higher and higher and higher. So
sky's the limit. Well, actually, you could go past the limit. So
yeah. So what's now you have your podcast established. What kind of guests are you looking for right now, or would you like to have?
Anybody to express themselves, their feelings, also what they've been through, if they feel they can help somebody by telling their story, or also bring on some guests that could speak about how to get a podcast going, how to do a blog, or different types of business. Because I'm not sticking to one thing, I'm just trying to mix it up, something that has to deal with life. Making some money, to being creative, fitness, and trying to help people.
Yep. And that's really pretty much in a nutshell everything. Just being able to give people an opportunity to tell a story that can hopefully change a young person's mind or a young person's way of life. Because, we all know kids out there that just have no direction in life. And like we said before, not to beat a dead horse, there's just no direction in life. And sometimes that doesn't have to come from a family member direction. Direction can come from anybody. Anyone, people like me and you, anyone that's had some type of experience in life, right? That can redirect a person's course. So anybody can do it. Be productive. Be productive in life. Don't wait for someone to ask you, hey, what do you think about this? If you see somebody that might be in need, start the conversation. Sometimes that's all it takes. So, but yeah, this is it. What's next?
October 76.
And October 76 in full effect in beautiful West Palm Beach, Florida. It's a little overcast right now, but this is where we live. This is it. It's beautiful. Unfortunately, hurricane season starts. I don't know if it's
today.
Today. So hopefully there's no storms brewing.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a little storm or something brewing out there today, but there was supposed to be some more further news on that later. But yeah, it's the last thing we wanted. It's a hurricane. But yeah, it's beautiful down here. So we're trying to do big things, one step at a time. And again, this is episode number 1 for October 76, right? I gotta keep getting that name, October 76. October 76. I gotta get some.
Gotta get a tattoo on your hand.
Yeah, I'm running out of room. But things will start looking better, again, we're just starting off. We'll do more collabs here as time comes. But this is what you gotta do. Take the first step and set up, do something, say something, right?
Speak your mind.
Speak your mind.
Yeah.
Speak your mind. Write notes. Like I was just telling Harold, I said, I'm a creature of a piece of paper and a pen. I didn't write one thing down yet. These are some notes that I have from a previous interview that I did. But let me ask you, okay, so let's talk about this real quick.
All right.
If someone wanted to get a hold of you, how did they get a hold of you?
So all my social media links are at October 76. So it's OCTOBER 76IX. So that's for the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media platforms.
There you go.
I'll put some links in the down below once everything's set up, hooked up, edited, and uploaded. So there'll be a bunch of links you guys could go click on, subscribe, follow.
For real, support, man, because, the hardest thing for someone is trying to do positive stuff is to get support, right? It's easy to do it, but we need that support. And again, we're not asking for money or anything like that. Just, grab that mouse, hit subscribe, and the little bell there for alerts on when we put out a new episode. And just support, man. Support my man Harold at October 76. All right.
I will be uploading a ton of information from equipment to software, which I'm gonna be advertising for free, just to help people get going. That's my goal. Help people get going, just like I'm trying to get going. I'm like, just want to help.
There you go. So, anything else you want to add?
No, that's it.
Nah, that's it. All right. So, this is
Go ahead.
You got your feet wet behind the mic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With check 1 2 1 2. Hey, if for whatever reason you want to try to get a hold of me, you can hit me up on Instagram at PBP Protection. PBP Protection. Facebook, just Lou Maroto, LOUMAROTO. Hit me up. Again, I've been on the job for 28 years, about to retire here in about another year. Plan on doing this more frequently, having more guests, different topics, and see where it goes. As you can see, I don't like to script. And I was telling Harold about that. I like to go off the top. We started off in a different conversation, and it kind of took us another way, and we just fed off it. So you get a feel for who we are and what we're about. We're no fluff. What you see is what you get, man.
Correct.
And we're not cocky, we're confident. So follow us. People's out. Recommend us to other your friends that might be interested in a podcast while they driving to work, while they trying to kill a little time at the airport, wherever it may be, because we're talking about real life things. All right. So, thank you guys for checking us out today. Again, Harold.
Thank you for tuning in.
Harold 76, my boy Harold.
October 76.
October 76. I'm gonna get it. October 76. Remember, it's our first time, so
yeah.
October 76. All right, and my name, What's Next with Lou Maroto. Check us out on YouTube. All right, that's where we start, YouTube, and wherever it takes us from there, that's where we'll be. So, everybody be safe. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Hey.